Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Legacy Continues podcast. I am Melinda McGahee, the Executive Director of the Lovelady Center, and today we are showing episode 39 or 40 of this podcast. And I know that we had said last week, if you watched, that we were going to do it live, but we ended up having to redo the floors and not able to do it live. So I wanted to get this recorded and just share with you this afternoon. Sorry. I wanted to share with you that this is actually going to be our final episode of the Legacy Continues. And I wanted to share, I think it's been a beautiful year. It's been a hard year. It's been a year of growth, tears, laughter, and this podcast was created, as I've explained many times throughout the year as we've done this, was because my mom had started a Real Talk with Miss Brenda podcast, and I was very passionate that nothing finished, that we just didn't stop anything that Mom had started. That if she started it, I wanted it to continue for at least a season. And I over this year, we've really concentrated on just making sure the legacy continues, and not just her legacy, but as we've talked and as we've discussed and as we've shown, we've had so many testimonies that have been on here. We've had volunteers come and share on how the legacy continues within themselves and what they're carrying forward, and not just about Mom's legacy, but the idea and to instill that we're all building a legacy. And what does that look like? And are we living that purpose-driven life? And that when you do live that purpose-driven life, what that looks like. And we know that Mom did that. And I feel like this year we've done, I feel like we've done well. I wanted to kind of reflect and talk about some of the things that we've done this year, and how the legacy has continued. I even saying we're going to have live, and then all of a sudden we decide we're going to redo the floors. I don't know if you knew Mom. You know that was so Mom, that all of a sudden we're gonna let's just shake things up. My mom, if things weren't changing, she would change them just so we didn't get too comfortable. So here we are. The legacy continues. I think that it's been, as I've said, it's been hard and it's been challenging. But I think of the different ways that that my mom was adamant on living out the commission, that creating to go therefore and make disciples, and I believe that we do that here at the Lovelady Center, and this year we've experienced growth. I know that my mom, the one thing that we've consistently done, because we didn't know what we were doing, and to see the lives that God has changed and transformed, I would say that the love of Jesus, and that is the ultimate legacy that we want to follow. And I know that we do that here at the Lovelady Center. We don't know what else to do except to show the love of Jesus, and to walk in the love of Jesus. That we've seen lives transformed just absolutely beautifully. We've seen families restored. I received a text yesterday where over the holidays, and I received multiple texts over the holidays, but this one in particular was a mother who had not seen her son in over 13 years. And he was angry and he was mad, but as he has watched the Lord transform her from a distance, when she got out of her car, he ran out and greeted her yesterday, and or over the weekend. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful, and that the Lord is restoring, and he redeems and he restores, and he's doing that, and that is definitely something that we've seen over the years, and the legacy continues. We're getting ready for our New Year's service, and I was thinking about last year's New Year's Eve service, and it was one of my mom was her favorite thing to do was the baptisms, and when I did it without her last New Year's, it was hard, it was challenging, but and I remember going into it, I was like, Lord, what Lord, I just need you present. We're baptizing to because of their relationship with you, and it has nothing to do with the one who's actually doing it. But I was nervous and I was anxious, even though I baptized without her before, took it to a whole new meaning. And this year we have consistently seen hundreds baptized, and it's been absolutely beautiful and wonderful. Again, the legacy continues. I was uh, thinking of other ways that the legacies continued, and then one thing that my mom had that crazy faith, and sometimes she would do things a little extreme. If you met her, if you know, you know what I mean. She would do well. Clearly, I mean, look at here, us at the center. It's a little extreme. But then I was thinking about when that crazy thing, that conversations on a bench, 24 hours on the bench, especially the one in January, freezing cold, and I was thinking, Mom probably would not have approved me doing it, but at the same time, she would have done it. She would have done it because she was crazy like that, and I think that that's another example. And I loved what came from conversations on the bench, and how the Lord, even though when we get out of our comfort zone and we see God move, what is ignited from it. I don't think if I would have done conversations on the bench, if I would have heard or would have been able to see God move, where we end up purchasing the apartments now known as Brenda's Courtyard. So we've experienced growth this year. We've seen the Lord move in a major way, and now we have 112 more. Over time, we'll have 112 more rooms. Again, the legacy continues. And then, Mom, creative. I'm not the creative type. Mom was so creative and so artistic, and so I was. Then we go and we get Vineyard Creations, and where our grads are able to earn some extra income during busy seasons. Right now, it's not pillow selling season, but was they wanted to show these pillows where we aren't they cool, where our grads are able to make these now, and then here's our crazy faith pillow. Woo! And we do these where a lot of people get these customized, and I'm not sure if you've seen. If you haven't seen, go on to social media and look up Lovelady's Vineyard Creations and see how we're making these, and not only are we able to customize them, but we're also Mom's crazy faith, 2 Corinthians 5:13, and again, just another way that the legacy continues. Woo, done. Done. All right. Another way that my mom and we had Mom a couple of years ago. She said she wanted to start. She wanted me and her to write a devotional book, and then she was in the middle of working on her second book, and. You know how Mom, she just, like I had to have things, like I had to have a plan, and Mom was like anti-plan. So she would, send me a devotional, and then she'd send me another one. And it was just kind of like, Mom, I don't understand what we're doing, because one's long, one's short, one's explaining hope, one's explaining, I don't know what is explaining. And so I'm like, Mom, we need to like somehow get a plan. So we're grooving the same. She liked what I wrote. I liked what she wrote, but they didn't sync well. And so I said, why don't you finish your second book? And after you finish your second book, we'll start working on it. She said, okay, we can do that. And we didn't do that. So I wanted, again, to finish what we started. And so this year, as the legacy continues, we finished the devotional. It has some of hers, some of mine. And it's mostly my devotionals, but it's all her artwork. And I love how the Lord, to me, moved in this, and how he showed out in this. And I feel like, I feel like he spoke to me, and I know that my heart was healed and mended in some ways as we wrote this, or as I wrote this. So I hope all our grads did get this. If not, shoot me a text and we'll get you your copy. Or if you're not a grad, you can go on Amazon and get it, or you can go on our website and get it. But this was for our grads. I hope that you got it. And again, the legacy continues. And there's many ways throughout this year that and one thing that I was just so impressed and proud of and so elated is that how many of our Lovelady grads have actually are now going out and making disciples and going out and ministering and loving on others. I was thinking about Amy Collier and Candy and their friend, my friend Monica, who started Turning Point and now are housing not Love Ladies, Turning Point ladies. And how they're restoring and watching God move in that ministry. And then Jocelyn James, who for years has been doing jail ministry, and she went and took that leap of faith, and now she's housing women in a whole in her definition of a whole way house. I think it's a sober living facility, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. Meredith Green, another grad, and I have there's so many grads that I was thinking. Amanda Clarity are all starting ministries this year. Brandy Varner just started jail ministry, so I get these texts and stuff where the legacy continues, where our grads are saying, you know what, I was created for a purpose, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to share the gospel. I'm going to share His love, and it's absolutely beautiful. I think that I think that I think that's probably one of my favorites is just watching our grads walk in the wholeness and fullness of what God has for them, and the legacy continues. I think it's beautiful and wonderful. This podcast again was ignited out of wanting the legacy to continue, and though we're going to change, though I say this is the final episode, I hope you log on next week and you'll see what direction we're going in. But we do see the importance of connecting with our grads, still having that type of community, also offering growth opportunity for our grads. So the title's going to change. We will continue something for you, and log on next week to check that out. All of this, as I speak and as I share and as I close this this podcast, I was remembering when I went to Mom, when Mom asked me to go to the Birmingham work release and with her, and I did not. I didn't feel like God could use me. I didn't feel that that it was my calling, and I didn't feel how I could connect or relate to the women at Birmingham Work Release, and Mom just encouraging me and saying, come on, Melinda, I think God wants to use you. I think you're supposed to be part of this. She said, I know I've met my people and I want you to be part. And so as you've heard the story, I reluctantly went. And I remember that moment when I was like, you know what? I mean, immediately fell in love with the women at Birmingham Work Release, and have loved every woman that has walked through these doors since. And I remember thinking, you know what, Mom, your people, my people, your God, my God, where you go, I go. And I felt like I believe that we are doing that. I believe that as Mom went to make kingdom impact, as she gave it all that she had, as she had this unbelievable, crazy faith. The day she passed, I do not believe any of that passed. I believe the legacy continues. I hope that you, if you're, I hope that you will be part. I love the commitments that at the alumni event, all the commitments and everything that people made. That the legacy that Mom left an impactful legacy, and that it will continue. And I am so grateful that you are part. And I hope that you will allow the Lord just to continue to ignite something within you, and that we never let that flame die. I love you so much. Thank you for being part. And remember, the legacy continues.